Topping an award-winning singer, songwriter, actress, and first-time author. At just 13 years old, JoJo burst on the scene with her self-titled debut album, whose breakout smash, Leave, Get Out, made her the youngest ever solo artist to have a debut #1 single in the US. Since then, she's released several critically acclaimed studio albums, EPs, mixtapes, and started her own label, Clover Music. JoJo has also appeared in movies such as Aquamarine and RV opposite Robin Williams. She is currently reprising her role as Satine in Broadway's Tony Award-winning Moulin Rouge, the musical. Yes, developing an original piece of musical theater and gearing up to release new music later this fall. Please give it up for Allison Stoner and JoJo Levesque.
Hello. Hey! Oh my goodness. I'm so grateful that you said yes to doing this with me, because Allison has been a big part of my book writing journey, actually. I really leaned on you as I was kind of freaking out and being like, is it okay to share? Who am I to share? And just a lot of fears and stuff. I just appreciate your friendship through this whole process. So to be here, sitting here with you while it's actually out in physical form is really, really great. So thank you.
Can we give her a big old congratulations?
No, the journey continues.
It does.
Yeah.
So this is a really special moment for so many reasons, and I know that some folks in here have read the book fully already, some maybe are part of the way through, so I don't want to give away all the spoilers, but I do want to talk about the themes, the sub-themes. I want to go as deep as you're willing to go.
You know how deep. Yeah, you know how we do.
Yes.
We want to go there, yeah.
But first, I just want to situate ourselves in the space. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Barnes & Noble, for hosting. Thank you for having me. And I just want to ask, checking in with the mind and body, how are you moving today?
I have never been asked that before. I think that's such a wonderful question. And with the company, the platform that you've started, Movement Genius, and
This
everything.
is about
I know
you.
it's not about, you're right, but I just want to say, just let me make it about you for 1 second. I just appreciate the work that you do, especially for people like us who, maybe the way our systems got conditioned, a little frazzled. So to answer your question, this has felt like drugs to me. This whole experience has felt like a big high, and I feel a bit metallic. I'm moving pretty well, I think. I'm moving pretty well. I feel so grateful that you guys are here with me, and I don't take that for granted, because everything else would show that this shouldn't be happening, that I shouldn't, I don't know, that's how people would probably look at it, but I'm moving strongly. I do feel liberated that I get to tell my story in my own words, and that takes a bit of pressure off me, because there's nothing that anybody can really say that I haven't first said myself. But that being said, I do feel a little frazzled and excited and nervous, and yeah.
I would love to jump into the writing process, because I think all of those feelings have likely come up tenfold, and I'm curious if you can walk us through the different stages of feelings when it comes to sharing your story at the first moment when you decided I'm doing this, I'm writing, to being in the trenches of actually writing, maybe the catharsis of it, and then knowing millions of people will have access to the most vulnerable and intimate parts of you, even beyond what we're able to access in your music in one song. So what were the stages of feelings in this process?
So about 2 years ago, I started thinking, oh wow, it's gonna be 20 years since I put out my first album. And I'd like to do something to celebrate that. And I've been thinking a lot about what does freedom mean to me, and what does, feeling lighter mean to me. And I wanted to let go of a lot of things that I've been holding on to. So that excited me, thinking about writing it. But then when I signed a publishing deal, I'm like, oh my God, there's a deadline. Like, I have to actually do this. That's different. Oh, hi. Hi, Eddie. And so that was different, as you know.
I do.
Yes. And then I think I experienced a lot of resistance. Like, I don't know if you guys, I think they talk about this in The Artist's Way, the book, or there's a lot of different books where they talk about resistance. And like, it came up for me where I was like busying myself in so many different ways just to be like, oh, I don't have time to write on the book today. Nope, I'm just so busy, just can't do it. But I had to like really carve out the time and sit with how uncomfortable I was at some of the choices I've made in my life, at some of the people, the versions of myself that I've been, at the blind spots that I didn't see at the time but can see now in hindsight. That was really, really uncomfortable. And I definitely leaned on my therapist, and she was, telling me to, like, at night, hold myself and do these kind of somatic things, and, hand on the heart and breathing stuff. And because I was just feeling shame and embarrassment and all that stuff. But yeah, so the process of it was a very roller coaster ride, kind of like life for most of us. There's times where you feel like you're flying, and then times where you feel like you're in the valley of the shadow of death. And, I don't know. But then I just had to be like, bitch, who cares? Whatever. Because really that too, like, it's really not that big of a deal. It's only, I think as humans, we are meant to share our stories. We've been compelled to do that since the dawn of time. And that's what I kept telling myself. It's not weird that I want to share my story. And I do have something important and unique to add to the conversation.
And you wrote every single word yourself.
And I had to tell myself that even though I'm not Ernest Hemingway or whatever, like, I'm still Joanna Levesque, and that's enough. And I just had to kind of do it scared, and do it even when I felt like I wasn't ready, because this is just another offering. You know what I mean? And it's a point of connection. Really, most importantly, connecting to myself and reclaiming the pieces of myself that I relinquished over the years because I thought they weren't appealing enough or good enough, or, all the things that I talk about on Trying Not to Think About It, if you guys have heard that project. And, so this is just like a longer version of that. Yeah.
Obviously, many of us know you and love you for your music, and also have a sense, though maybe opaque before reading the memoir, of what your tricky experiences were with the label. So without giving away all the spoilers, what kind of flavor can you share with us about your experience with your music label?
I mean, if you're here, you know what the fuck happened. So I don't need to, y'all know. Team JoJo got me out of it. But I will say that now, as with a lot of time removed from it and other albums under my belt and other projects and experiences, and this is what, people in the comments are so irritating sometimes. I don't look all the time, but they're like, why would you trash your former label, or why would you trash Leave Get Out? I'm like, y'all didn't read the book and it shows. Because I'm not trashing anybody. I'm so grateful because I now it gave me a foundation to be here right now. But what I will say is that it speaks to how life is all about duality, because I'm simultaneously grateful and I'm so heartbroken. I'm so heartbroken. I'm so tired, I'm gonna cry, it's okay. So heartbroken because they, those people, they were my family. I wanted to ride off into the sunset. I don't like untethering. I don't like breakups. It's a breakup. And I moved from Boston to LA to make things work with them. These are my uncles, my father figures, my brothers. All I wanted to do was build a legacy together. And it didn't work out that way. So you keep moving, but it's heartbreaking for the little girl that just was looking for family and thought that I had found that. And then life taught me that it's not personal. People are doing what they need to do for themselves. And then I applied that to every area of my life. And then I hurt other people. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm gonna cry with you. And thank you for going there. I feel like these questions, I know what I'm about to ask, no one else does. And it's gonna be like a 7-layer bean dip, and we're just gonna go deeper and deeper and deeper.
Oh,
so, shit. I love you, and you can
too.
Consent to whatever you want to say and skip the rest. So let's start maybe with going back to some of the younger experiences. I've watched many of the interviews that you've done for the book. I've listened to the audiobook. I've read through the manuscript. And something that maybe hasn't been touched on as much is your experience of being bullied. And there are deep internalized messages that come with being cut down, belittled, ostracized, othered. And that really shapes a psyche, it really shapes a nervous system. So I'm wondering, in your journey, where you're landing now, how do you think that has shaped the way you relate to people? Not just your self-esteem and self-worth, we can imagine maybe some of those results, but more like, how do you interact with people? What do your relationships look like as a result of that experience? Sorry, we're at the top here. You asked me to do this.
I
remember?
did. I knew where this was going. Yeah, I still at 33 find myself, needing to check in and be like, why do you need to check in to see how you think people are receiving you? And I have to talk myself off those ledges sometimes because I really don't fucking care, but obviously part of me does, and that's the little girl inside me that needs to be integrated and healed, and that I need to, as the adult now in charge, sit with her and be like, it's okay, you're, just continue to be authentic. Because I think that in trying to be the most acceptable version of yourself, which I did in school sometimes, I couldn't help but be the little girl who would just sing in the hallways, and then when I realized I was doing it, I would be like, oh no, because melodies came through me, and I would want to play with different songs and stuff like that, but I realized that wasn't cool or whatever. So I think that truly, even in getting to know new people, I wonder sometimes, why do they want to be my friend? And sometimes I wonder if people, it's just true. I'm like, why are you around? And is it because you genuinely like me? Because two things can be true. You can enjoy some of being close to somebody who's in entertainment or something, and also like them for their soul and vibes and stuff. But it's still something that I'm sensitive about.
That makes total sense. And I'm just thinking of all these different pieces of yourself that you touch on throughout the book. And there's another voice that I caught on. I don't know if anyone else did, but it's speaking to this sense of urgency that you seem to have felt from a really young age, that internal motor of saying, it wasn't just I've got to reach this milestone because someone else has. It felt like it came from a different place, something beyond that. I know we are also in a society that says, keep going, after you do this, you got to figure out what's next. But I'm wondering if you have any sense of where that initial voice came from that felt like you urgently had to grow up.
I don't really know, but I will say that I think that because, and look, if you guys have started to read the book, you know that I love my parents. They're amazing. And I think that as we get older, we realize that our parents were people first, and that they're still people when they're our parents, and they still have their own issues and stuff. But I think I quickly got the sense as a child that it was shaky ground that I was being raised on, and that I needed to, that I had a gift, and that maybe I could do something with that. People were telling me how special I was, and people were, oh, you're gonna be famous, and you know, you're gonna make a lot of money, and I'm like, oh, word, like maybe I will. And I wanted to get the fuck out of Foxborough, Massachusetts. I wanted to go to New York City and LA, and I wanted to work. And I felt inconvenienced by my youth, and I don't really know why. I feel like if you have any insight to share on that, because I know that you're so deep in your own journey of, you know, self-discovery and healing. But I think it has to do with being the product of two parents who are addicted, and they're having a grand time. And I'm glad for them. Thanks, Doug. And being an only child, and then being bullied, and then feeling like I need to prove people wrong, or I need to not be like that, or I just want more than what I've seen, because I see a lot of depression and depravity, and I don't want that to be my experience. I want to be like on VH1 Divas and shit.
I want to build on that because you're touching into some really sensitive realities, which is our family of origin has a tremendous impact on not only our upbringing and how we view the world, but also our trajectory. And for better, for worse, for all of it. And being the child of people experiencing addiction, as well as being in an industry where you are kind of forced to grow up quickly, I'm imagining there's this heightened sense of responsibility, and I'm wondering, to see both sides, the duality of it, what are some of the strengths, the personality traits, the superpowers that have come from that, and also what are some of the areas that still feel really tough to manage, if you're willing to share with everyone.
Yeah, of course. It actually makes me feel much better to speak about the vulnerabilities, because then it's like, I think when you put something in the light can act as an antiseptic, you know, and kind of clean out anything that feels like it's been wounded and that still needs tending to. And so as far as the strengths though, you know, it's so nice when people come up to me and they're like, I really appreciate your resilience, or that really, you know, and so I would say that I am resilient. Someone was like, you take a licking and keep on ticking. That's such a weird thing. But I will, like, you know, you get knocked down so many times, you keep getting up. That's what life is about. I do believe that. You don't need to get up right away. You can be like, hold up, like, let me lay here for a minute. And that can be the right move. But also, I need to know what's next. And I think my self-worth is still tied to what I'm doing. And I like to be producing something, to produce a project, something. And I know that, like, part of my spiritual development is learning how to be. And that's why, you know, and be content with that. And, you know, I have a big ass tattoo of Sedona on my arm, and my friend Surya from Sedona is here today. And I stayed with, oh, I'm gonna cry, I can't even do it, but I stayed with her many times when I needed a place to just not produce, and a place to just be and be in nature. And I need to put myself in those positions to do that and carve out that time, because otherwise I will busy myself. And I think that's why it felt so offensive when people are like, and my ego was so inflamed when people would be like, where have you been? I'm like, bitch, are you fucking serious? Working my ass off and nobody's seen it. You know what I mean? I've been writing and recording hundreds of songs. Fucking, like, are you serious? Just so frustrated because that internal motor had just been going for so long. And I experienced burnout many times and experienced like, oh, I don't think I can do this anymore. Like, I need to check into a place for real. Like, I am physically, mentally, emotionally exhausted. So that is still a real thing. But I think I have way more tools in my belt now. Like, I know how to ask for what I need, and I know how to accept help and to say, all right, this is a season of busyness. In November, or, or wherever.
I hope I know where this is going.
What, taking a moment off?
There you go.
Taking a couple weeks of just...
I haven't learned it, but
go off.
But way to set the bar high.
No, like there has to be balance in order to recharge to then go work more.
That's
no.
true.
I'm being facetious, but I enjoy doing things. So, but it's still something that I struggle with, where I can feel that like, so.
That's funny because you did write some of the book in my house, but I had displaced myself to go work, and I was like, I have a really peaceful place for you, so maybe I could actually stay at my house sometime.
Yes, it's quite tranquil. You have a
Good.
beautiful
So
place.
glad.
But something I also want to speak to is I do struggle interpersonally. I think that I forget what the initial line of questioning was, but I
Doesn't matter.
yeah, but I do struggle because of my family of origin. I struggle to trust that people will really show up in a way that they really. I think when there's been other priorities and addiction takes hold and stuff, you're like, how could anyone ever really choose me over, something else like their career or substances or whatever the case is. So that's something I'm actively working on and working through, because I don't want to lead with trust issues or things that have happened in the past, putting them on someone else and projecting. I've been a queen of projection, and it's not sexy or sustainable. Oh no.
There have been so many quotable moments already from. You don't have to. Okay. I want to build on trust, because there is a running theme in the book of you cultivating self-trust to be able to trust your own decision-making. And so to come up for air for a moment, I'm wondering what decision you've made recently that has involved self-trust that you feel really proud about. So we can just celebrate that as well.
Self-trust is probably the biggest thing that I've been thinking about, because it's linked to authenticity, and the title Over the Influence is about allowing other people to tell me what I should value, what I should do next, how I should do it, for so long, because it's fine maybe, at 12, 13, because I'm not an A&R, I don't know what I was doing, executive, and there was so much to be learned. But then years in, I had to trust that I am also an authority in the area of what is right for me. I am the ultimate authority in that area of what is correct for me, what I can live with. Nobody else knows what I can live with, you know what I mean? And I compromised in so many different ways that I lost myself many different times. And so working on self-trust is an active daily practice, to where I will sometimes still be like, is this okay? I do like to run things past people, but ultimately I'm the final decision maker, which is great. I like to get the opinions of people I respect, but it's just a new season of, and I will say that, like, okay, so what is something I've done recently? Nobody necessarily told me, like, you know what you should do? Like, go do musical theater now. No one was like, that's what's up, or that'll be like the sexy move. But I had always listened to, whether it's a manager or somebody else guiding me, telling me, this is what you should do next. Well, you're not living my life, actually. And you don't know what's resonant and important to me. And I love musical theater. I am fully a theater girly. Like, I just love it so much. And there's something, yes, that's it requires a lot of hard work and discipline, but I think that I was there's something in me that knew that I needed to be disciplined, and I needed to be in the same place for a period of time. And I needed to learn that I was someone that I can rely on. Yeah, I can do 7 shows a week, and I can show up in every way and be a leader and be responsible and be a team member. And for a long time, I wasn't somebody that I could trust or that other people could trust. So I think I needed to see it in action and put myself in a position to do that. So I would say that, you know, being a part of the company of Moulin Rouge and being a team member and all that has been really good for that. And yeah, opening my heart to know that I know the types of relationships that are good and resonant for me, and I don't need to be afraid. Yeah.
I'm so proud of you and in awe of you and excited for you in the journey of self-trust in particular, because I know that what I'm observing is, thanks. Does yours have special effects on it? Or that's just how good your voice sounds?
Oh, that's just my resonance.
You see how I set you up for that?
Thank you.
You're welcome. So with self-trust, it seems like as you're making decisions, the small decisions of the day to the largest of your career, it's more fully embodied and it's more integrated, as in like all the different parts of you, you're checking in. You're not just saying what works for the persona of JoJo or just what works for the artist and creative or the human.
This is the integration as well. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's a long ass name, but it's like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I'm like, I'm Joanna JoJo Levesque. That's cool. That's fine. You know, we knew him as The Rock before, but he's all things. But that is representative of the integration, and because.
And being able to say, like, okay, this decision might be great for JoJo, but it's horrible for Joanna and, you know, the internal artist who doesn't have to be a commodified brand. And so just to give you some flowers, it's not just the decisions you're making to, you know, please all of us as fans in the form of JoJo. It's also you being able to say, actually, holistically, this is a remarkable decision for my human journey, my soul journey, knowing, I'm gonna cry because I'm proud of you.
Allison.
But knowing that as you move forward, all of the growth that you're doing is gonna be imbued in every subsequent album that we do get to experience JoJo in, you know what I'm saying? So just to give you kudos that you're making these like deeply embodied decisions, and sometimes that means going against what people in the industry or people in your personal life are gonna say is what's best for you. So, like, can you feel that? Do you feel the difference in your body?
I do.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a gift of making it to my 30s. I will say that I think it's gotten easier to do that. And also, thank you for putting it in that frame and in that way, because, yeah, I do feel a lot more integrated and embodied, and I'm still working on that. And I hope that I just continue to let go of any conditions that I thought needed to be upheld, so I can get closer to who I really am and who, you know, I'm called to be. Because I am spiritual, and I believe that there's, you know, something more divine and higher going on. So yeah, appreciate that.
I have a perfect little segue question. In fact, I have 2 more, but then soon, this is your 5-minute warning. If you have a question you would like to ask, we'll be opening the floor. But back to top stories. If we're talking about some of these things that you are unlearning, some of the conditioning, I'm curious, I'll give you options. Either, what's the biggest message you've had to unlearn over the course of your life, or what's the message you're trying to currently unlearn that you feel could add to that liberation to truly move forward?
I don't know. There's so many. Like, I think something that I've been working on for a while is just abandoning the fear of, it being too late, or, being erased or forgotten, or there's not space for me. And that's not how I look at it anymore. Wow. That is definitely how I was conditioned to look at it. Like, you need it. Oh, I'm sorry, I know there's children back there probably like, you need to eat beaches alive. Like, you need to come
still
to
on a
like,
microphone.
You need to keep the eye of the tiger and come for blood or whatever. And I'm like, at this point, I've just been through too much therapy to do that. That's just not my desire, is to be in competition with everyone. So I think that the competition is something like, I am friends with some of the most amazing singers that live on the planet. And it is not my desire to try to be in competition. First of all, I can't compete with some of them. Like, and it's just not even, and I'm okay with that. I just feel responsible now to exploring. No, I feel excited to explore what it is that I uniquely bring to the table. And that's what I felt as a kid, that I was like, what can my voice do? And what can my body, like, what can I do? How can I try to move? And I'm reconnecting with that. So I think the competition of like, I want to put out music that I dig and that I'm excited to share with people, because that's, I think, what's most resonant. So when people come up to me and they talk to me about agape and trying not to think about it, those are the two projects that people come up to me the most and talk about. Did they stream the most? No, I don't know why. Why is there such a discrepancy? But that's what you guys come and talk to me about. And those are the ones that are from my soul. So I think that that's what connection is about. And that's what I'm interested in exploring more than anything, is that human connection. So unlearning it's tough when you've been a product for a long time. So thinking about myself more as a human being, integrated human being.
And letting the impact of your life not just be what you're producing for a corporation, but also saying, this is the heartfelt testimony I want to leave with my life.
And knowing that in order for me to show up in a way that is like the best expression of myself, I have to be taking care of myself. And that means living authentically, taking care of my mind, body, soul, for real. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. I'm going to be burnt out. It's going to be the disaster era again or whatever, where I'm like, just barely hanging on. Can't do it.
Yeah, living as anyone other than yourself is the quickest way to drain your battery.
Woo!
Thank you. I'm
good
fan.
for a sound. Yeah.
So my final question, before we open it to the floor, in case anyone has a question, is a lot of times, and I'm infusing my own gripe into this question, when artists do interviews about their most recent project, in the interview while promoting your current project, the question is, what's next?
Oh, I hate it.
And you're like, I don't know, maybe we could take some time to celebrate what I just did, write 100,000 words on paper.
Yeah.
So, I want
So what's next?
So no. So not what's next.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Instead, speaking to the fact that you also tackle the themes of addiction and being over the influence, I'm wondering for you, what would be enough? Where there
Y'all
wouldn't,
felt that too. It's like, when is it gonna be enough? Not just for me. It's like, whoa, what a question.
yeah, where there wouldn't need to be a what's next, where there would be a contentment or a resolve or peace or whatever that is for you. What would be enough?
It's all about finding a way to be creative and fulfilled and connected and successful on my own terms in a sustainable way. So when will it be enough? I don't really know how to answer that. I don't even know. I look at someone like, I recently got to work with Cyndi Lauper, and she's 71 years old, and she's going on her final world tour. maybe it's not the final one, but she's saying it's final, right? And when people are like, wow, you've been talking to me saying you've been in this game for so long, I think about someone like Cyndi Lauper or Cher or Tina Turner, rest in peace, women who have been doing this for a long time. So I think that I'm going to continue to evolve, and God willing, my life is long, and I get to explore different pursuits and different endeavors. And when will it be enough? Do you know? Nope.
That's why I asked you.
TBD. Yeah, I don't know. I'll be honest though, like when I started writing this book, I was going to get married. So I do want like my life has been about work for so long that I do desire, and when that ended, I really started to see that I had not nurtured some of the other relationships in my life. My great friendships and my my team and things like that. And because I'd been so fragmented and so on the move and everything that I had maybe neglected some of that. So it was an opportunity also to integrate things that are really important to me, but I hadn't really known how to do that in practice. Gave me the opportunity to do that, and I continue to be, excited for more time with friends and for one day building a family of my own and being a part of children's lives. I think that will be really gratifying as well, to help share some of the things that I've learned in this life through banging my head against the wall 1,000 times until I was like, okay, that hurts. I don't need to do that again. I'd like to impart some of that to the next generation. So, yeah.
Well, I think that is a beautiful way to sum up the essence of the book. You're allowing yourself to be fully human, fully honest with all of us and yourself and your team, your family, and then also recognizing you still got a long runway, hopefully, a really, really long runway ahead, and there's so much room to continue to evolve. Is there any kind of final note you want to share before we open the floor on what you hope readers take away, or fans, all of us take away from reading or listening to the memoir?
I hope that you can think about the way that you frame your life. Maybe, do whatever you want, you know what I mean? But it would be cool if somebody maybe was like, wow, I've actually, it's amazing that I'm still here, or wow. Because I never took the time to slow down and think and sit with and grieve and feel and acknowledge and put pieces together and things like that. So maybe in me sharing, maybe you'll share in your own way, and maybe it'll connect you to your people and your community more. Maybe you'll write a book. I really, through writing this, have come to think that everybody has a really amazing story if you give yourself the time to think about it and to unpack and to be like, oh, there's actually something here that's worth sharing. So I would say, don't be afraid, do things scared, and know that there's no perfect. Just you being authentically yourself is probably one of the most important contributions you can make. So thank you guys so much for wanting to be here with me and for reading or listening to the audiobook, and it just means so much to me. I feel really, really grateful and very seen, not just because y'all are looking at me right now, but I don't feel afraid. I feel empowered and liberated. So thank you for being a part of this journey in my next chapter. You guys, give it up for Allison. That was the best question ever. So, we got some questions? Yeah.
Yeah, so folks, we have about 10 minutes for questions, so we're gonna keep them brief, keep them respectful. If you guys wanna call on people, and I'll be able to pass the mic around.
Okay, let's start here in the sparkly sequins, yeah.
Hey Joe, so just want to say that my name's Marlene, and I just wanted to say hi.
I know you're Marlene,
Oh,
good to
hi.
see you.
Good to see you. So I just wanted to ask, what was your favorite part of writing the book?
My favorite part was being done with it. You know, my favorite part is now. I would say when I submitted the first draft, because then I was like, oh, then I can take 2 weeks while my editor looks at it and I can just chill out and just, because I was just so, it was like a race to the finish line for like the first draft thing. So I would say that.
Okay, that's fair. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate both of your accessibility, just feeling so relatable in the way that you communicate with your fans and all of that. And I'm just wondering, in these kinds of events, what are some things that you often hear from fans that are extremely affirming or energizing? And what are things that sometimes feel draining, or a kind of comment that you get
What's
that
your
feels...
name?
Tyler.
Tyler.
You have the best fans
I
ever.
really do.
I want people
really
to be prepared when they meet and greet you. So what are some things that are affirming to
Oh
your
my
work?
God! Why you're so protective of me?
Someone's been in therapy.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. Tyler, thank you for that question. Some of the things that feel really affirming are when people are just like, I don't know. There's a lot of really wonderfully affirming things, and I don't want to say that the things that are draining, because I don't want anybody to feel insecure or like they can't say what they wanted to say to me. But I will say that I feel a tremendous amount of guilt at things like this when I have a flight to catch in a few hours, and I think sometimes people don't believe me, and they're just like, you know, she wants to like speed things along, but I want to be fully present with every person that comes up to me, and I also want to get to everyone. So I feel such guilt when people start getting emotional, and when people are telling me your music saved my life, and then they're telling me some things that they went through, or some edges that they, you know, looked out onto, and I just sometimes don't know how to take that. I sometimes don't know what the right thing to say is, and I want them to know that I feel them. And I'm also like, I can't believe that that this person has to walk away in a few seconds. Like, are they gonna be okay? Now I'm thinking about them, and it's just that honestly is sometimes I don't know what to do with that. But I'm so grateful, and at the same time I'm like, damn. But that's not to say don't tell me that, you know what I mean? I appreciate that my music is a part of your life and that it's been a part of your journey.
Maybe then we can all collectively agree to take a moment after our moments with you to check in with ourselves and ask what we need and seek out the support we need, so that we can take care of each other and it's not all on one person.
Hey, that's so good.
It's a
It's
thought.
an idea. It's a thought. For real. Yes, you right there. And I'll try to do some more on the edges, sorry, because it's hard.
Hi.
Hey.
Oh my god.
Hey, babe.
Hi. Oh my gosh. Okay. I know when you're. Fuck, I'm so nervous.
It's okay. Me too. It's okay. What's your name?
Eli.
Hi, Eli.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I know when you're making music, it's not just like writing the song, singing the song, boom, it's out. There's a lot more obstacles in process. So what was like the biggest surprising obstacle about making the book?
You know, the biggest surprise, I won't say I'm surprised, but like having the legal conversation, you know, I've had like so many legal conversations in my career, and I guess that's just par for the course. Like we're not just like singing at coffee shops. This is like a business. And so I've learned a lot about the literary business as well, like that world and stuff. So having a lawyer go through the manuscript and then because like, guys, I did peel some back, you know. I don't want to be sued. I don't have ain't nobody got time or money for that. And so I was like, let me take some things out or put it in this way or whatever. That was really interesting. Things that I thought, because I thought I wrote it very thoughtfully already. But then even just realizing a shift in this language could protect you, you know, so that's always very interesting. I would say that, yeah. Yes, you right behind him. And then you right behind. Yeah, you.
Hi, JoJo.
Hey.
I don't know if you remember me. I met you a couple of years ago at Madison, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. So my question is, from music to reading to writing this book, what is the biggest takeaway? Like, how do I explain this? How hard is it to write a song versus write a book?
Well, yeah, it's a lot different time commitment wise, you know. 3 minutes versus like over 300 pages is very different. But I actually like this because like my first draft was a lot of stream of consciousness. I mean, there were some revisions and stuff, but first draft I was kind of just like getting it out on the page, and I didn't write it in sequential order. The first chapter I started with is Joel, is the one about my dad. And then I wrote about some other things that were just very visceral that I could just, you know, I felt that I could tap into sooner. I like wrote the first thing at the very end. And I would say that the biggest takeaway though, because that's what one of the things that you asked first, is that nobody is going to, like, no one's gonna fight for your vision like you are. No one's gonna understand what it is. No one can be the creative director of your life. Like you, that's on you. You do need to fight for your vision. Because I in the music industry got really burnt out and exhausted after fighting my own team, fighting the executives. I'm like, oh, I must just be wrong. But it's really actually very inspiring to see artists like Charlie XCX and Tinashe and Chapel Rowan and Sabrina Carpenter and Billie Eilish, and this amazing group of women who are just like raging against the machine and being like, I see it this way. I see my life and my career this way. And so in that spirit, I'm seeing my life and career in a certain way, as well as the telling of my story. And that will continue to inspire how I make music moving forward. And that's what I did with a project like Trying Not to Think About It, where I was just like, oh, okay, you don't want to support this, whatever label I was at? I just can't care, because life is short. Yes, you in the orange.
Hello. Hi, I'm Jasmine.
Hi, Jasmine.
Thank you so much for both of you today. I wanted to, we've talked a lot about like healing the process of it. It can be painful, it can be questions and all of these things, but I know for my own self, I've gone through a lot of that this year, but I'm trying to get to the other side of the spectrum. I feel like I have, of like healing also being moments of like discovering joy and living fully, and right, and I feel like it takes a long time to get there, and sometimes we don't even see healing in that context, right? So what was like a moment for you that was maybe even outside of like the work and all of that, that you're like, oh, this is different, like I'm having a different reaction, and it's one that's like I like, and I want to continue to have this be my healing?
It's such a thoughtful question, and I'm so excited for your journey, and thank you for sharing that. And it's so not linear, and I'm not a finished product. I'm going to be healing and revisiting and revising probably to the end. But I will say that in opening myself up to like new possibilities, and like even just saying like, yeah, I'm gonna be open to dating again. I was like so protective of myself for a long time because things didn't work out the way I wanted it to. And I will say that in interfacing, like in interacting with with new suitors or whatever, not like, it sounds crazy, but like in allowing somebody to try to like impress me or get to know me and stuff, that is allowing me to see that I have implemented boundaries, and I do know how to listen to what it is that I need and want, and I know how to advocate for myself and to say, you know what, I don't like that, or that doesn't work for me, or to stay true to like the things that that I said I am, that matter to me, to my values and all that. And that is growth. And that's something that I've talked to my therapist about. And even in just being like, I don't have time right now or whatever, like this time that I do have, can you are you down to fit into that, or whatever. So I would say that is growth, as opposed to that anxious attachment of needing validation or needing to know that I'm like, someone's obsessed with me or whatever, or they'll do anything, they'll bend over backwards or whatever. I would say that that's a really interesting journey that I'm on right now. The object of my own desire. That was a great way to put it. Yes.
All right, this is going to be our final question.
Oh, no, okay.
Our
Well,
final
I'm sure we have
question.
time to chat when, okay. Yeah, maybe right here. That shirt looks so nice. You
Yeah.
read it?
Thank you.
love
It's
the
'cause it's your
merch.
face. That's why.
I'm obsessed
That's
with
why it looks
myself.
nice.
No, I love the color scheme and everything, yeah.
Thank you. My name is Inoke.
Inoke.
I will say it was nice to see you in the South Pacific. A lot of my family members did the haka in New Zealand for you.
Oh
So
my God, that was one of the most amazing experiences
it
of my
was
life.
special for me. I don't know if I can ask this. It's not inappropriate, I promise. But I have a backup question in case I can't. Would you mind singing us anything that's on your heart?
Let's see, anything that's on my heart. Yeah, thanks for asking. You guys really are the best. I love this song from my last project, and I think about this song a lot. So I'm just gonna sing a little of Fresh New Sheets. Because I was in such a different place, but this song was a part of my healing and everything. So, ooh, it's been a long day, caught up in the wrong things. Don't know why I opened my eyes. Yeah, wish I could just lay here, just me and my space heater. I still can't find a way to melt the ice. But I got these fresh new sheets, and you said you were free to come and break them in with me. It sounded good when I said it then, but maybe that ain't what I need. I get so attached and it calm down's bad, and I just end up hating me. 'Cause even though I love your touch, I know that it's way too much. Please don't come over, 'cause you can't compete with the things that I'm scared of that keep love from me. No, please don't come over. My heart's just too weak, and I know I'm better than this heartbroken version of me.